All right, let's talk about a choice that pretty much every Windows admin has to make these days. Are you sticking with the good old, tried and true group policy? Or is it time to jump into PowerShell's desired state configuration? It's a big question, so let's really get into it.
And really, this is the heart of the matter, isn't it? The tools that we all relied on, the ones that were perfect for that stable, predictable on-prem world, well, they might not be the right fit for the wild, dynamic, hybrid cloud reality we're all living in now. It's really a story of the past meeting the future.
I mean, the challenge is pretty obvious when you think about it. We used to manage these nice, predictable servers sitting in our own data centers. Now we're trying to wrangle entire fleets of virtual machines spread across who knows how many clouds, and a lot of them aren't even on a traditional domain. That kind of shift, it forces you to take a hard look at the tools you're using.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the king of the on-prem world, group policy, or GPO. I like to think of GPO as the castle architect. You know, someone who is super meticulous, really powerful, and their whole job is to build and maintain this perfectly structured, well-defended kingdom.
So what is it really? Well, officially it's a feature for central management, but, and this is the key part, it's all happening inside an Active Directory environment. And get this, it's been around since Windows 2000. That tells you a lot. Its entire reason for being is tied directly to the structure, to the logic of Active Directory.
So, in the real world, what does using GPO feel like? Well, for starters, it's all GUI-based. You're living in the Group Policy Management Console, the GMPC. It absolutely 100% requires Active Directory to work. And its whole philosophy is about prevention. It's designed to lock things down, by literally graying out buttons and options so users can't mess with them. And it works on what we call a pull model, where all the client machines just check in with the domain controller every so often to pull down their latest marching orders.
Okay, so now let's bring in the challenger, PowerShell DSC. If GPO is our castle architect, then DSC is the modern field engineer. This is the person who's flexible, super adaptable, and has the gear to build consistent, reliable stuff on any terrain. Doesn't matter if it's on-prem, up in the cloud, or way out on the edge.
So what is DSC? It's a management platform that's built right into PowerShell. And its core idea, man, it's kind of revolutionary, especially if you come from a traditional admin background. It's all about managing your infrastructure with configuration as code. You literally write a script that says, this is how this server should look, and DSC just goes out and makes it happen.
And this is where you really start to see the huge differences from GPO. DSC is all code, no GUI. It's declarative, which is a fancy way of saying you just describe the final state you want, you don't write out all the step-by-step commands to get there. It's also something called idempotent, and this is a huge deal. It just means you can run the same script over and over and over, and you'll always end up with the same correct result. And maybe most importantly, it's platform agnostic. No Active Directory needed. And instead of just trying to prevent changes, it actually finds and fixes when things drift out of place.
All right, so we met our two players, the architect and the engineer. Let's put them head to head, right? Let's look at the key battlegrounds for configuration and see how their totally different approaches actually work in practice.
And you can see the split almost immediately. I mean, look at this. GPO, it's a GUI, it needs a domain, and it stops drift by just locking the user out. DSC, on the other hand, it's code, it works anywhere, it finds and fixes drift, and it's all about declaring a desired state. We're talking about two completely different mindsets for solving the exact same problem.
Let's go a little deeper on that whole philosophy thing, because it's important. Group policy is what you'd call stateless. Think about it. You can have tons of different policies applying to one machine, and you don't really know what the final result will be until they all mush together and fight it out at runtime. It can get messy. But DSC is stateful. You declare the exact final state you want in one single configuration file. That gives you this incredible predictability. You get a single source of truth for exactly how that server is supposed to be.
And how they handle drift, when settings change, is like night and day. GPO acts like a gatekeeper. It locks the front door to stop users from changing things. But what if something sneaks in the back window? Like another script changes a registry key. GPO has no idea. It's totally blind to it. DSC is more like a guardian. It's constantly patrolling, checking the system against its blueprint. And if it finds anything out of place, it can automatically put it right back, making sure you're always in compliance.
Okay, so after all that, how in the world do you choose? Well, here's the thing. It's not really about which tool is better. It's about picking the right expert for the job you have right in front of you. So let's break down some really clear scenarios where you'd pick one over the other.
So when do you call on the architect? When do you use GPO? Absolutely for sure when you're managing user settings, things like drive mappings, printer connections, for thousands of traditional, domain-joined workstations. It's still the king for enforcing security baselines in a big, mature Active Directory setup, and it's fantastic at filtering policies based on really complex group memberships. Plus, hey, if your team just loves a good GUI, GPO is what they know. It's their home turf.
But you bring in the engineer, you bring in DSC for the modern stuff. Automating how you build and set up your cloud servers in Azure or AWS, that's a job for DSC. Managing machines that aren't even on your domain? Yep, that's DSC too. And this is a big one. Integrating your server setup into a CI/CD pipeline, your whole automated deployment process. That right there is the power of DSC. It is the tool for the whole infrastructure as code movement.
So here's the real takeaway. This doesn't have to be some epic battle where one has to win and the other has to lose. Honestly, for most places, the smartest strategy is a hybrid one. Let the architect keep managing that established kingdom of domain workstations. It's great at that. And then let the engineer go out and build and maintain all your new stuff in the cloud and on the edge. The truth is, they're actually better together.
And all this really leaves us with one last question you've got to ask yourself. We all know our infrastructure is changing. It's evolving, it's growing, it's moving all the time. The real question is your toolkit evolving right along with it?